Hi, and welcome to Hoffman's Hot Seat. I'm Tom Hoffman with One-to-One Media, coming to you from the Gartner Customer 360 Summit here in Orlando. And I'm joined today by Greg Sherry, Vice President of Marketing at Verint. And today Greg and I will be talking about different ways that companies can blend enterprise feedback management with workforce optimization. Greg, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Tom.
So what are some ways that companies can effectively bring together enterprise feedback management with workforce optimization?
I think the first thing to look at is the enterprise feedback management and the voice over the customer. And regarding workforce management, is think of it in terms of how voice of the customer how voice of the customer via EFM and other ways can help drive operational excellence. So more and more these days we are seeing companies, business drivers link very much to these concepts. And what I mean by that, you already have companies working on workforce optimization initiatives through contact centers and through the enterprise. They've been focused on tools to improve the workforce, to drive root cause analysis, to fix problems. Now with the connectivity with EFM and the broader VOC concept, they're bringing in a more holistic approach. They're solving things in-house. They're also looking holistically at customer satisfaction and customer-centric areas. So it's really come together and is really complementary.
Okay, thanks. So let's talk about the contact center for a moment. What are some ways in which companies can use workforce optimization tools to try to match contact center agents with the right customers based on the agent's soft skills?
So in most contact centers, they're trying to solve a variety of challenges that come in. They're trying to give the best service level to customers. They're trying to drive customer wow. They're trying to increase customer retention. I think as far as the agents, what they're able to do is use the tools to increase learning, to increase the ability for agents to perform better. A quick example, workforce optimization tools allow you to identify the top competencies of an agent. So for example, agent A is good at cross-selling, very good at problem resolution, and frankly very tenured and very good at root cause analysis and first call resolution together because they have a lot of knowledge. So the WFO tools give you a lot of insight into the agents and their competencies, and then you know how to align them with certain cues or to support certain customer segments. I think an interesting development along those lines these days is looking at agent skills and competencies, how to handle social media in contact center as those continue to come together. So we've been to a few centers where the organizations have identified some of the top agents who have some of the skills and competencies. I mentioned a high level of knowledge at the company, very good interactions, very customer-centric, and they're putting those people in queues that also support social media. So those are almost super agents, if you will. So
right.
Those are interesting things that are happening. The WFF gives you insight into the agent's competencies and lets you use them in the best way for your business.
So, Greg, as I'm sure you know, historically, many contact center leaders have focused on efficiency measures such as average handle time to try to measure their operations, but more, a growing number of companies are shifting more towards the use of more customer-centric measures such as first call resolution. And I'm wondering, how can workforce optimization tools be used to help support these types of customer-centric measurements?
I think, your first question, we talked about enterprise feedback management coming together with WFO, so that concept alone is very much a driver, as we have voice of the customer and WFO driving operational excellence, so at the high level. Specifically, I think you make a great point. We've seen a lot of change over the last 3 years or more in some cases where they're not just looking at the traditional metrics, handle time, service levels. More and more companies are actually abandoning the handle time metric. They still track it, but they don't drive it to the agent level because they realize that can be inconsistent. We want you to give great service. We want you to be customer-centric, but you must get off the phone in 180 seconds. As you know well, those two don't come together. So what I think you're seeing a broader understanding from the customers themselves at the executive levels of how things need to play together. You need to give good service. You have to have metrics and management of your business, but you've also got to look at your business holistically, and that's happening more and more. I think that's pretty exciting, and again, it goes back to kind of enterprise and contact center and back office optimizations coming together and people seeing the synergies and the need to solve the business drivers in all those areas.
And it sounds like senior management is recognizing and advocating the use of these types of metrics too.
Yes, absolutely. I think it has evolved very much, especially in the last couple years, because I think that some of the social areas, people are realizing that, number one, the contact center is more important than ever. Executive has always known that the contact center has been important, but with social driving interactions across, there's probably 8 or 9 channels, as you know, these days that an organization needs to handle customers. They may come in through a branch, they may come in through contact center phone calls, they may come in email, web, social channels. So there's 8, 9, 10, depending on how you count them, ways that a customer can now contact you. So it's imperative to look at it holistically, really.
Yeah. As you know, one of the biggest challenges for contact center leaders is the fact that you have such high turnover rates among your staff. And I'm wondering, how can analytics be used to help attract and retain the best contact center agents?
That's a great question, and the reason I really like that question is the agents, the social media agents, are the front line tip of the spear in everything we've talked about today. Sometimes that's not thought about enough, I think. Those people are the tip of the spear to drive that satisfaction and loyalty and customer centricity. So I think the exciting thing is what is still emerging, but what's happening is they're seeing that agents themselves are seeing that they can accomplish things, help meet and drive business drivers at the company much more than they ever could before. And a quick example, it goes back to our question a moment ago, if an agent's measured on handle time and service level, those are pretty call center-centric metrics. These days, with speech analytics, with enterprise feedback management, and voice of the customer applications, you have insight from outside in. But for the agent, they can see, for example, in speech analytics, I helped solve 6 different examples of problem resolution at my company, and the executives could see that because my results came through speech analytics. Another one that's very exciting, you can measure things of competitive nature, competitive keywords, competitive areas with speech and other analytics areas, and you can measure, for example, cross-sales ability. So you can see and determine through analytics which agents who typically don't cross-sell, as we know, at most inbound centers, but if they do, those metrics and results, more importantly, can be seen. So the summary is, what do we all like in life? What do we like? We want to be successful, but we want to achieve something.
Sure.
And more, the agent's achievement and contribution to the business can be measured and seen. And agents get excited about that. Just the one last thing, what I've seen the social media agents get the most excited. As I talked about before, they're kind of the super agents. They've been very successful in the contact center. They're asked to help social media and be blended agent. They love it. I heard at Gartner yesterday too, in one of the sessions, the typical agent is making $38,000 fully burdened cost. Some of the social media agents, according to Michael in his presentation, are making up to $76,000. So let's talk about satisfaction as far as achievement. That's a big driver for all of us. Pay them more than double, and you've got a dual strategy there.
Sure. Well, great. Greg, thanks so much for your insights today.
Okay, thanks, Tom.
Thank you.